Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here. It's predicting the 7-game NBA main slate on Monday. A couple things before I get into the video. If you're new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos talking about NBA, NFL, and XFL daily fantasy sports. Also here to announce the winner to the weekly $20 PayPal giveaway. So, the winner is Prospect Boy. Congrats on winning the $20 PayPal giveaway. Either hit me up in the YouTube comment section or on Twitter. I can make sure to get you that PayPal. But yeah, like I said, if you guys are new to this channel, how this giveaway works is all you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. That's one entry in the giveaway. Max one comment up per video. So we'll start with this video right here. We'll go throughout the week. We'll end my Monday NBA video at the end of the week. So however many videos I've uploaded for the week, you can end the giveaway that many times. So if I have 10 videos uploaded for the week, you can end the giveaway 10 times. And again, the winner receives $20 PayPal for myself. With that out of the way, let's jump to the video. Also, just want to apologize for not being able to get videos up the last couple days. Just been really busy this weekend and didn't want to rush out a video or give you guys core plays wherever I'm not fully researched. So ready to get back to the grind here for this week. And let's start with it. So, 7 games. Let's take a look at some over-unders for the games that are out right now. We have Rockets-Knicks sitting at 230.5. The Rockets are 9.5-point favorites. A little bit of blow risk there. Portland and Orlando sitting at 222.5. Orlando are 7-point favorites. The Jazz-Cavs sitting at 219. The Jazz are 8.5-point favorites. And Memphis and Atlanta 239.5. Atlanta's 2.5-point favorites. So we will start with center today, and at the top is Whiteside at 9.6. More of just a contrarian option for me. He's been solid, 50, 48, 49, 47 fantasy points the last 4 games. Just there's other centers I like a lot more. We'll talk about some of those guys really shortly here. So Whiteside, more of just a contrarian option for me. Sabonis is looking at pretty appealing at 8.8, but there's a lot of guys that are underpriced on this slate. So another one of those. I think he's a little bit more contrarian right now. I do like the price, but I think I like some other plays a little bit more. Like Kristaps Porzingis, if Luka Doncic can't go, I'm going right back to the well here. In the last game where Luka missed today, he played 37 minutes, had 75 fantasy points, 38, 13, 4, 5 blocks, and a steal. This guy's upside is through the roof when Luka is not out there. So strictly depend on Luka Doncic news right now with Porzingis, right? If Luka's available, I think Porzingis is okay, but if Luka's out, I love Porzingis. I also you got to have some interest in Nikola Vucevic at 8.4K, 34 and 36 last couple games. Did have an off game last game against the Spurs, but before that, 55, 40, 40, and 50 fantasy points. So I think he's a solid play at this price. Not my favorite center play, but I think he is definitely viable. Bam Adebayo at 8.1, another one of those that I'm not overly excited about, but I'm okay with if you land on him. Now, Drummond is a guy that I have interest in 8K because, the worry with that Cavs roster is just you never knew where the minutes were going to go. Now that Tristan Thompson is out and he's not going to play in this one, I'm pretty certain we're going to get about 35 or so minutes from Drummond in a close game. He played 36 the last time against the Pacers, had 60 fantasy points. Now, obviously, the matchup isn't great, but I still really like the price, and I think we're going to get the big minutes from Drummond here if he stays out of foul trouble. So I do like Drummond a good amount here at this price. Again, the concern with him was just because Tristan Thompson, we didn't know what the minutes were going to be like. Now that Tristan Thompson's out, I really think Drummond probably gets about 35 or so in that one. I'm not going to get to Gobert at that price. Julius Randle does intrigue me at 7.7. Really good matchup here against Houston, so I'm fine with him. The slight concern is that just the minutes have been a little bit up and down with him. He's not playing at a consistent 35-plus every single night. So, there are some games where he hasn't closed recently, which is a little bit worrisome. Aldridge is doubtful. We'll talk about some other value Spurs here in a bit, but he's out as well as Jakob Poeltl. So there's a lot of minutes to go around for that San Antonio front court. Jonas Valanciunas, I really like at 6.8K. So those previous games where he played 25 and 23 minutes, both were blowouts. The last 2 games have stayed close, 32 and 31 minutes, 49 and 51 fantasy points. One of the best possible matchups against Atlanta. And again, we still have no Triple J. We still have no Brandon Clark. There is always some slight concern with JV's minutes, right? They're never locked into 30 a night. Every once in a while they will go back down to 22. But I feel like this is a spot where they're already missing 2 bigs, and it's a really good matchup against Atlanta. I love Jonas Valanciunas. He's one of my favorite plays of the day here at 6.8K. Again, no Tristan Thompson. That's why I feel confident with Drummond's minutes. Mitchell Robinson's always viable for GPPs. He has flashed upside recently. 36, 44, and 46 fantasy points in 3 of the last 4 games. Also, the minutes have been going up for him. 32, 30, and 29 minutes. He's actually been staying out of foul trouble, too. So, I do like the upside from Mitchell Robinson, too. I don't know if I get there for cash games, but I am definitely keeping an eye on him for GPPs. Just because, again, those minutes are going up. He's staying out of foul trouble. And those are just the 2 concerns with him in this whole season, right? Just the minutes were down. He's always in foul trouble. He's been doing a good job, and those minutes are going up. So I think Mitchell Robinson is a very, very good play there at that price. Let's see. Other options here for center. So Trey Lyles at 4.8K. I know the price is up, but he played 40 minutes that last game against Orlando with Aldridge out and Jakob Poeltl got injured right away. So the Spurs, they don't really have a whole lot of depth in the front court. And we know the Pacers run big, right? They have Miles Turner. They have Domantas Sabonis. So I think Trey Lyles is going to have to play big minutes as long as he stays out of foul trouble. I think we probably get at least 35 minutes from Trey Lyles. So I like him a good amount here. Really the only other big they have is Drew Eubanks, who I think is actually a viable punt, especially if he starts at min price. So we'll talk about that more in a bit. Let's see. Other options here. Again, Jakob Poeltl out. LaMarcus Aldridge doubtful, so don't expect Aldridge to go. That's why I'm pretty high on Trey Lyles, even at that elevated price. I mean, Fernando is like a viable punt. I'll probably get about close to 20 or so minutes. He's been decent, and Memphis does run big, so I don't hate that idea, but not like my favorite punt option. So let me go to San Antonio. Let's see. So yeah, Drew Eubanks actually started the second half for Jakob Poeltl. Played 16 minutes at 13 fantasy points. Again, the Pacers run big, so could they always start Rudy Gay at the 4 and move Lyles to the 5? Sure. And Rudy Gay is a guy I like a lot, too. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But if Drew Eubanks picks up the start at center, I think we probably get, at least 20 minutes from him at min price. He would stand out as a really solid punt option. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to see what San Antonio does with their starting lineup. But if Eubanks starts, I have some interest there at that price. Giannis at 11.4K is a guy I have a lot of interest in. We have Chris Milton once again questionable, and always the concern with Giannis is he's never going to play a full count of minutes, right? Because Milwaukee's just so good and they blow out every team. We don't have this over under or the spread out in this one yet, but it's at Miami. Miami's a pretty solid team. I'm pretty confident this game stays close, and that means that Giannis probably get about 35 or so minutes. So I really like Giannis. I know the matchup, not really the best against Miami, but just the minutes, right? I'm pretty confident that game stays close. So I really like Giannis as a spend up. John Collins at 8.9 has been solid last couple games, 55 and 50. It's a good matchup. I don't think I go there unless it's part of a game stack. And if I'm going to play someone in Atlanta, I'm going to give the edge to Trae Young, who's like $1,000 more, $1,500 more. But I just like the upside a lot more on Trae Young compared to John Collins. Not saying John Collins is a bad play, but again, I think I only go there as part of a game stack. Aaron Gordon's been great here. Besides that last game where he only had 24 fantasy points, him and Vucevic both kind of busted, which was kind of surprising. But yeah, the minutes with him, right? He's playing like about 40 minutes a game. This is a really good matchup, and that last game is going to get people off of him. But I have a good amount of interest in Aaron Gordon still at that price. Love at 7K. Did play 37 minutes. Well, with no Tristan Thompson, that kind of solidifies the minutes for those bigs. So I'm okay with Love. I think I would prefer Drummond if I was going to play one of the Cavs bigs, but you can go to Love. I don't hate that idea just because I think those minutes will go up. Covington at 6.2. The concern here is the game doesn't stay close, but he'll probably get about 35 plus in a good if the game stays close. He's again good matchup here, so I'm okay with Covington there in the mid range. Carmelo at 5.6 is the number 2 in the offense right now, but he's not doing a whole lot besides scoring the ball. So that is the slight concern. It's not really the best matchup, so I'm okay with Melo, but don't know if I'm going to get there in this one. Otto Porter actually might come back. He is currently listed as questionable. That is somewhat significant because if he comes back, that's less minutes for those, a guy like Kobe White off the bench who's been playing really solid. We'll talk about Kobe White in a bit, but I think Kobe White is still in play. But yeah, if Otto Porter plays, I would take a slight downgrade to him. I mean, Kyle Anderson has been getting a consistent run, 33 and 31 minutes, but hasn't really done a whole lot within the last couple of games. It's a good matchup. One of those I'm just okay with. I'm not like overly excited about him. Now, Rudy Gay is a guy I like a lot at 4.3. Played 30 minutes the last game against Orlando. We know the Spurs are thin, right? Aldridge basically not going to play. He's doubtful. Pirtle out. They can run Rudy Gay at the 4 a good amount and Trey Lyles at the 5. He played 30 minutes the last one. Don't know if we expect that again because it's Popovich, but I think we probably get at least 25 from Rudy Gay. He's also one of my favorite value plays currently there at that price. Even a guy like Mo Harkless, it's kind of gross, but he's getting about 25 or so minutes. He's been somewhat productive. It's a good matchup. I don't hate the idea going there. I think that really does it, though. For power forward, let's move on to small forward. Jimmy Butler at the top at 7.5K. This is another play that I do have interest in, and we know Milwaukee plays at a really fast pace. Now, they're solid defensively, but they play at a super, super fast pace. So, yeah, I mean, I think we probably get, 35 or so minutes from Jimmy Butler. I'm okay going him for sure. I think he's a pretty solid cash game play. You could always make the argument to pair him with Giannis, running like a mini game stack. I don't hate that idea either. Middleton, this is pretty big news. He is currently listed as questionable. He was probable, I believe, at the start of the day and then was ruled out for this one. So we'll see what they do here. Because if he misses, that's even a bigger boost to Giannis. That would make guys like DiVincenzo more viable. A guy like George Hill, Pat Connaughton become punt plays. So we got to keep an eye on the status. Also makes Bledsoe a lot more viable. DeMar DeRozan at this price point, I think, is way too cheap, especially if Aldridge is out. He's going to play about 35 or so minutes. I know the matchup's not necessarily the best, but I really like DeRozan here. Yeah, a lot of the Spurs I'm pretty high on. DeRozan, Rudy Gay, Trey Lyles. Again, that's assuming Aldridge is out. I like all three of those guys a lot. Hardaway at 6.5 did have a solid game. 31 fancy points with no Luka, but I think I would prefer the cheaper Dallas guards, who we'll get to in a bit, if Luka Doncic is out. I'm not going to chase that Terrence Ross big game. He had 51, I believe, or 31 51 2 nights ago. The good thing with that we are seeing, though, is the minutes. 34 and 33 minutes. This is a good matchup. So I actually think he's okay. My whole concern with playing Terrence Ross is he is very, very scoring dependent. So he does have a low floor. But, the minutes have been there. The shot attempts have been there. It's a good matchup. So I think he's solid. I think the ownership might be a little bit inflated. If I think he's going to be like super, super high owned, that's where I might look elsewhere, just because, again, he does have a low floor if his shot's not falling. So let's move on. Let's see. Honestly, not a whole lot I'm super excited about down here. Yeah, I think that really does it. So let's move on to shooting guard. James Harden at 10.5 does look like a really solid play at this price. The concern, again, is just there's a decent chance this game doesn't stay close. Harden has not shot the ball well recently. It's been more of the Westbrook show, but you're getting him at a really cheap price. I do have a good amount of interest in Harden. It's just, again, do you think this game stays close? I think there's a decent chance it could blow out. CJ McCollum's guy I think is going to go super, super low owned, but you got to have interest in him right now. He's playing about 40 minutes a game. He's shooting the ball a ton with no Lillard. Look at those shot attempts. 30, 24, 27, and 26 shot attempts. He's getting the peripheral stats. I know the matchup's not really great, but I still have interest in CJ. More of a contrarian play, though, just the way prices kind of work out in this slate. Levine at 8.7, I think it is also a pretty solid option. He's playing big minutes. He's also shooting the ball a ton, 20, 35, and 25 shot attempts. So, yeah, I think he's in play for tournaments. Don't know if I get there for cash. Donovan Mitchell's fine, but again, I don't know if I'm going to get there. I just much prefer DeMar DeRozan for a little bit less. Seth Curry at 6.1, played 30 minutes the last game against Minnesota, had 37 fantasy points against him. We'll talk about DeLon Wright. These are guys that are going to have to do a lot more offensively if Luka's out. Now, if Luka plays, I would have no interest in these guys. Yeah, so Kobe White at 5.8K. He's playing about 30, 35 minutes a game. He's, shooting the ball really well. My concern is if Otto Porter does come back, that's just another body into the rotation. But right now you have to consider what he's doing, and he's basically paying off his price tag every single time. 42, 49, 50, and 34. My whole concern is he is a little bit scoring dependent for a guard, but yeah, if Otto Porter's out, I think we probably get at least 30 minutes from Kobe White, and you have to have interest there. Oladipo at 5.7 finally had a decent game, 31 fantasy points. I still don't know if I can get to him right now. RJ Barrett at 5.4. I think it's okay. It's a good matchup. We'll probably get 30 to 35 minutes from him. Not super excited about it. Now, Dylan Brooks at 5.3. 40 and 35 minutes the last 2 games. My concern with him, again, is kind of the same thing with Terrence Ross. He is scoring dependent, but what we're seeing right now is big minutes. We have a great matchup here against Atlanta. So I do have a good amount of interest in Dylan Brooks. I think he's going to be pretty popular, but again, it's Atlanta. He's the minutes, the shot attempts. I think Dylan Brooks is a pretty solid play. My only concern there is he is scoring dependent, so he does have a somewhat low floor if he's not knocking down those shots. A guy like DeLon Wright, I would really like if Luka gets ruled out. He'll probably get over 30 minutes. So again, that's strictly dependent on Luka Doncic's status. DeAnthony Melton's been starting, getting a decent run, 25 or so minutes a game. I'm okay with him as a punt option too. Again, really good matchup there against the Hawks. Other options like J.J. Barea, I guess would be a viable punt option, but he didn't get huge minutes. I think he only played 17. So not going to feel great about that. So guys like Connaughton, guys like George Hill, these would be guys I would look to as punt options if Chris Middleton does get ruled out. I think it does it for shooting guard. Let's move on to point guard. Again, I already talked about liking Harden. Same thing with Westbrook, right? They're basically the same price now. Westbrook's been better, but it's really up to you if you want to go one or the other. I don't have a strong lead, Westbrook or Harden. My whole concern here is just, there's a chance this game doesn't stay close. That is my concern with both those guys. But if it does, you could see one or even both, honestly, having big games. I do like Trae Young a good amount here at 10.4K too. The Memphis guys like Jonas Valanciunas, a guy like Dylan Brooks. We'll talk about Ja Morant too. Right now, they're underpriced. And you could run a mini game stack with those 3, run it back to Trae Young. Honestly, I think that's a really solid build there for GPPs. And yeah, Trae Young hasn't flashed a huge upside recently, but we know he's got 70-plus fantasy point upside in him. And this is one of the best matchups against Memphis. This game in general really stands out. So I do like Trae Young a good amount there. Doncic, again, this is kind of changes the whole slate. We got to keep an eye on it. He missed the game Sunday, so my best guess is he doesn't go. If that's the case, I love Porzingis, and then guys like Seth Curry become more viable. A guy like DeLon Wright becomes more viable. Let's see. Other options, yeah, Ja Morant I really like too. 35 and 34 minutes, which is really good to see. So in close games, we're probably going to get mid-30s minutes from him, and this one should stay close. It's one of the best possible matchups. He's at 41 and 59 fantasy points the last 2 games. I really like Ja Morant. I really like Jonas Valanciunas. I really like Dylan Brooks. I really like Trae Young on the opposite side. I just like a lot in that game. Brogdon, 6.9. I think he's fine for cash games. Don't know if he has huge upside, though. Alfred Payton at 6.7. I actually kind of like the price here. He's been a little bit up and down, so don't know if I get there for cash games. But this is a type of matchup where we could see, a triple-double game from Alfred Payton. We know Houston plays at a really fast pace, so I have some interest in Alfred Payton, more of just for GPP play, though. Bledsoe at 6.5. I believe his minutes are really limited. He only played 22 minutes, which is a slight concern because that game was close. But, if Milton gets ruled out, he's going to have to do more offensively. I think his ownership will be low after that last dud game. DeJounte Murray at 5.5 is fine, but I think I prefer those other Spurs, DeRozan, Trey Lyles, Rudy Gay, even Drew Eubanks if he starts. Mike Conley at 5.4. We'll probably get 30 to 35 minutes from him. Not a guy that has enormous upside, but I think right now he's a little bit underpriced. I think he's a solid cash game play. Markelle Fultz at 5.3. Don't know if I get to him. He probably gets around 30 minutes. It's a good matchup, but I just think there's better plays on this slate. Yeah, a guy like DiVincenzo, right? He'll get more minutes if Middleton can't go. Hasn't been great, but he would be another, viable cheap option. George Hill, again, kind of dependent on Middleton news. Well, I still think we probably get 20 minutes or so from George Hill if Middleton plays. He's been solid last couple games, 31 and 23 fantasy points. So, yeah, we got to keep an eye on Middleton's status. But I think that basically does it for the breakdown of the 7-game slate. So yeah, I will be live streaming for this one, 45 minutes before lock. So be sure to check out the live stream, guys. I will go over all the injury news we get throughout the day. I will go, give you guys a game-by-game breakdown. Then I'll give you guys my core cash game plays, and then answer any questions you guys have at the end. So yeah, thanks again for everyone coming and checking the video. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys all tomorrow in the live stream.